Much of my free time is spent ranking up and down, trying to get good at the infamous hero shooter game Marvel Rivals. And since my first draft of this, I've actually managed to climb all the way to Diamond rank, but not without its fair share of trials. So, can girls game? A timeless question posed by seasoned incels and men speaking pure facts alike. To it, I say yes. I mean, just check my match history. Clearly, I game. Maybe more often than I should, considering my lack of wins. But I would be okay with just being pure bad at gaming. After all, I'm just here to have fun with my friends. But it's entirely different to be bad at gaming as a woman. I'm not just being sensitive when I say that being a girl means insults carry more weight. Every insult means fulfilling every negative stereotype that women can't play games, that women can't exist within male-dominated spaces. Now, I've experienced plenty of misogyny firsthand in my gaming lobbies, so much so that if another girl on my team happens to be using her microphone, maybe she's discussing team compositions, play styles, or who we should ban, my mind immediately jumps to one of three conclusions. One, she must be new, because any seasoned player would know better than to risk the onslaught of misogynistic remarks. Two, she better be good so that she can back up what she's saying. Or three, she just has pure guts. Because the aforementioned misogynistic remarks can be anything from microaggressions to graphic depictions of their sexual fantasies. The most common sayings are, "Women belong in the kitchen," or calling you so sexy every time you clutch a round. And if you're not uncomfortable yet, I've been asked, who here has a vagina, over Valorant team chat. So would you prefer to be insulted or lusted over? Pick your poison. In order to protect myself from hopefully both of these poisons, I've resorted to only getting online in the company of my guy friends, so that there's someone to defend me when the flaming begins. As further precaution, I don't use voice chat, which can be detrimental in a team-based game. The lack of communication means wasting valuable support ultimates in Rivals, or failing our retake on Val. And since us girls aren't given the space to properly communicate, it leads to losing more games, which can create a false narrative that we don't have the skills to win games. I also don't really try new characters, because if I perform poorly, it's likely that the entire loss will be blamed on me, or worse, I become further evidence that girls can't game. Even if I hide the fact that I'm a girl, the insecurity of being one still affects my gaming experience. And oftentimes, despite my precautions, my identity is discovered regardless, because I portray certain stereotypes, like having a short or cutesy username, or playing support and feminine characters, or even the fact that most of my gun skins are pink. You could argue that all of this kind of means nothing. So what if I get anxious playing with strangers? It's just an online game. But the hostility towards women is more than what happens in voice chat. It's the rampant sexism that is present within the gaming industry itself. Companies like Blizzard, which is responsible for Overwatch, have been called out for their frat boy company culture that normalizes verbally and sexually harassing their female employees. Additionally, in 2019, Riot Games, which was responsible for League of Legends and Valorant, was sued for $10 million on the basis of gender discrimination. Digging even deeper, we can find misogyny packed into the pure design of these games. It's true, I'm your typical female support player, but what made me immediately gravitate towards that role? Well, the answer is simple. Supports are catered towards women. We're the target audience. Us humans like relatability, whether we admit it or not, men. But when damage dealers and tanks get big, strong muscles, and the support characters are cute girls or animals, who do you think will play who? And it comes down to socialization too. This genre of games has only recently become popular with women. Most of us grew up on Stardew Valley or The Sims. So it's not that boys necessarily outdo us mechanically, they just have more experience growing up on these sort of shooter games. So So when the support characters are given giant projectiles or built-in auto-aim, they become the obvious choice for girls with little to no knowledge about aim, let alone the distinction between hit-scan or projectile heroes. Then we have our greatest perpetrator of misogyny, the men playing these games and saying these things. Sure, they're saying it behind a screen, but they're carrying this mentality into their real lives. And it's the fact that a majority of these men aren't even men. They're young, impressionable boys. Kids impersonate those that they look up to. This could be older siblings, friends, or even the streamers that record themselves playing these games. So when they see this sexism being portrayed and even normalized, they're going to internalize that and continue to spew this sort of rhetoric. When my teammate says, "Women belong in the kitchen," sure, he could just be referring to my skill issue, but it would be wrong to deny the original intent of that statement, that women aren't fit to work. When supports who often do less damage in favor of healing are marketed towards women, we find ourselves once again fulfilling a caretaker role, compromising for our crybaby duelists and making up for their poor positioning mistakes. In a society that is already shifting towards more conservative values, there is great cause for concern in this normalization of misogyny and sexism. To my other gamer girls out there, I urge you to use that mic to tell your teammates to switch off. Play out of your comfort zone by learning a tank or a duelist, and don't ever let yourself be made to feel smaller just because your gameplay might be kind of bad. After all, the best thing we can do to resist is to continue to exist in spite of the naysayers. But unfortunately, as I myself know well, our persistence can only achieve so much. We're not responsible for the actions of misogynistic boys, some of whom might even be in this audience. They need to take accountability for themselves and also their friends. For every demeaning word they uttered, or second they remained silent while it went down, for every single time they diminished women with a simple joke that just wasn't that deep, bro. But despite everything, I still love gaming. The unanimous disdain we share towards the developers who keep nerfing our favorites, and the hatred towards ourselves for our inability to quit is what truly makes us a community. So if we could just unite over that instead of alienating women from the space, then maybe we would all win more games. And like I said earlier, I mainly play to have fun with my friends, but I'm always looking for new ones. And since my stack isn't full yet, maybe after this, be it girl or boy, we could queue together. Thank you.